Hello there, and welcome to Everything Coptic.
Good morning.
Good morning. Or you usually post at 5 p.m., so good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, and welcome to Everything Coptic. I am here with Antony Aziz. I am blessed to be in his presence. He came all the way from Wisconsin for this interview or series of interviews.
We should have just done Skype now that I think about it.
We could, but we're here in person and it's excellent.
Well, thank you for having me on the show, and I hope that you guys enjoy.
God willing. So tell us about the experience. And we were talking about this earlier. Graduate school and undergraduate school and making time for God and making time for the church.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll present the situation and talk us through it. It's the circumstance that, I go to grad school. I have no time for God or the church. If I go to liturgy, I have to wake up early so I don't get to study the night before. I then have to be in the liturgy, and then it's so tiring. You eat, you come home, you food coma. Next thing you know, you're starting to do your studies, and it's 6 p.m.
Mm.
And the whole day is wasted, so I cannot study. If I go to liturgy, I need to study. It's more important. Therefore, I shouldn't go to liturgy.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a very good point. This is something that a lot of Coptic youth are dealing with, especially in modern America, where education is very important.
Yeah.
If you don't go to college, you're kind of looked down on, and then if you don't go to grad school,
I look down on you. No,
on
I don't.
me?
you go to graduate school
for now.
For now, okay.
So I mean, it's something that's very practical for all of us to figure out.
Mm.
So
it's obviously something we all go through.
Yes.
So then, how do we go about it? Is there no time for God in grad school or undergrad?
So there is a certain balance that has to be made, right? Like with anything in life, and we also have to have priorities.
Okay.
So if you start prioritizing your social life and your schoolwork over God, then there needs to be an adjustment in priorities. So I think it's first figuring out what should my priorities be. Because once you figure out what the priorities should be, everything else will fall into
But I
place.
mean, my issue is this. Now, I'm obviously devil's advocate here.
Mm.
So my issue would be, God and the church, this takes like 5 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours,
Sure.
who knows? It takes a lot of time. If it's from 7 a.m. I'm getting ready, and 6 p.m. I'm gonna study, this is 11 hours I wasted. Say I go to Cold Stone, say I go to eat sushi, say I do any of these activities. Cold Stone's 20 minutes. Egyptian timing and everything else, hour and a half,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Sushi, 3 hours.
Sure.
Either way, an hour and a half, 3 hours. This is like maybe a quarter of what the liturgy was.
So I think you bring up an interesting point, and we need to make a distinction here. So there's time that we have to dedicate for the sacraments, like communion, and then there's the time that we have to dedicate for our daily time with God. And often you find that people in grad school actually neglect both things, not just one or the other. Those that say, I don't have time for liturgy on Sunday, may also be the same people saying that I don't have the 10 minutes to do Agbeya or read the Bible.
It's interesting that it's only 10 minutes. Like, in spite of everything else, we'll pull all-nighters, we'll talk to people, I don't know how many times you've been in the library, even in medical school, and you walk by the monitor, see what people are on, and, maybe a third,
Facebook,
half, of social media, Messenger, Facebook. It's like, you have no time to pray, no time for God, but you have time to look at everyone's Snapchat and be up to date with all the drama. Although you're not in California, you know everything that's going on with everyone in California.
All the group messages firing off, got to catch up on those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that I personally struggled with. When I started grad school, I found myself distracted with video games. I was playing every day, but then at the end of the night, I was like, I have studies. I can't read.
Now here's another argument that someone might make. The church tires me out. When I go out to eat, I go out to hang out with friends, I feel refreshed. So that way when I go back to study, I have more energy and I have more focus. So whereas if I give time to the church, I'm literally losing time. I need to take a nap after. I need to recover after. I probably need to even see my friends after, because that's how laborious church is. And yet if I go out with my friends and I come home, I feel good. Let's put a few hours in.
So let me turn back and ask you a question. Do you think that's more an issue with timing, or more an issue with how we see liturgy and how we are actually viewing the sacraments?
I think it's actually a third thing. It definitely goes with the second more than anything. But it definitely has to do with priorities, which then goes into that. Priority meaning my comfort and my refreshment, or even my studies, which I place greater than my spiritual life.